Hey guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. Today we're bringing you a segment on attitude towards Chinese Canadians and how they have changed from the past to today. We've got Timmy here, who is 14 years old. He's Canadian Chinese, and we are going to interview him first and then his grandfather just to get an idea of the discrimination they faced during their times. Hi Timmy, thank you for joining us. I want to start off by asking, how is it for you today being a Chinese descent living in Canada?
Well, obviously it's much better conditions now than what it used to be. I feel like I'm part of the community. I have friends of like all culture, but here and there I do experience racism. I get called names. People use stereotypes, try to bully me.
Timmy, can you elaborate a little bit on the stereotypes or the bullying you experience?
I've been called names, racial slurs. I've been told I don't belong here, to go back to China. And these are people often that are older than me, and they probably view us like how they did during my grandfather's times, rather than people that are my age that don't have the same mindset.
Okay, so you experience racism, but generally from the older population, older white people versus the younger crowd. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
So does your grandfather often share his experiences of moving to Canada?
He uses one simple word to describe his experiences when moving here to Canada, and that one word is gruesome.
Interesting. That's a very bold word. Well, we are going to be interviewing him later, and we'll have him elaborate on this. I do want to ask you, though, so when your grandfather shares his experiences of discrimination, how does it make you feel?
Well, obviously it hurts to hear about and learn about at school how him and other immigrants were treated like they don't belong here. Even after leaving his family back at home to try to escape poverty, to find a better living here, but still treated differently and inhumanely.
Timmy, how would you describe your ethnic origin? What is your ethnicity, your nationality?
I was born and raised in Canada. I'm Canadian. That's the only nationality and ethnic origin I'm linked with.
Okay, well, just one more question. What message do you want to give to our listeners before we let you go?
I want everyone listening to know that our culture has contributed a lot to the community, and that us Chinese should be treated like we are part of Canada's success.
All right, listeners, we've got Edward here that will be joining us. He is Timmy's grandfather, Chinese Canadian who had immigrated from China in 1952. Hello, Edward.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What happened when you first entered Canada?
Well, I arrived just a few years after the Chinese Exclusion Act was banned, but there is still judgment and rejection to us Chinese people by the white settlers. I was often beaten, rejected, and excluded on all opportunities Canada had to offer.
Why did you come to Canada?
China still had corruption. I didn't have enough money and there weren't enough resources for my family. So Canada was my escape, a chance to start a new life. I had come to join my father as well, who had helped build the railroad, but he had passed away a few years after I arrived. And his experiences during his time were far worse than mine.
Edward, would you say that things are different today in Canada from the time when you first arrived regarding racism?
Today there's many more good people to defend, whereas before, when I first arrived, there was no one. Everyone is against us.
What kind of racism did you experience?
As I mentioned earlier, I had been called names. There were personal attacks on us and our homes, but it was also extremely hard for me to get a job. If I ever did, I would be paid half the amount as the white man next to me.
Wow, so job discrimination as well.
Yeah.
How do you think discrimination and racism can be put to an end?
I think by embracing what everyone individually brings to the society could help end racism. Chinese people brought music, tradition, and contribution to the economy.
Timmy made mention that you describe your experience in Canada as gruesome. And after interviewing both of you, I can see that you just want your place in Canada. You just want to be respected and recognized. Would you say that people's attitudes towards Chinese Canadians has changed enough, or do you think there's still room for improvement?
Well, Canada's great at There's obviously still discrimination and racism, but I feel that Canada has done a great job in accepting other cultures, and I think we just need to keep on doing that and improving and accepting each other's differences.
All right. It was a pleasure having both of you. I wish you all the best, and hopefully your message will be heard and we can do a better job at embracing each other and our differences. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Check out my link below.